Turning now to a city in crisis. Police say a 16-year-old boy was shot to death in northeast Baltimore this morning. It happened at an apartment complex along Moravia Road.
It is a neighborhood that has lived through a staggering amount of high-profile gun violence in recent months. On January 29th, an MTA mobility driver was gunned down just feet away from the scene of today's shooting. And in 2019, the same neighborhood was terrorized by a deadly crime spree that left a beloved barber killed and a Baltimore police officer paralyzed. Well, tonight, Fox 45 is pressing city leaders. How are residents expected to feel safe in an area consumed by this kind of violent crime? Our questioning got pushback from the mayor. Our City in Crisis team coverage begins with Keith Daniels, live in Baltimore. Keith?
Well, Kai, investigators say the teen was shot in the head. Now, we've been talking to police, and we went to the apartment where the shooting happened. We talked to some people there off camera. Now, there's a lot being said about this shooting, but one thing for sure tonight, a boy is dead. At the Moravia Park Apartments in northeast Baltimore, tragedy inside the center building. A 16-year-old boy shot and killed this morning. Tonight, homicide detectives investigating. Police say they're questioning witnesses. This deadly shooting happened don't do that, on Moravia Road, right across the street from where an MTA bus driver was gunned down. Someone shot and killed Frankie Duckett, murdered after dropping off a passenger January 29th. His suspected killer, Marquise Poteet, still on the loose. At City Hall today,
addressing trauma is critical.
Mayor Brandon Scott swears in the first members appointed to the Trauma-Informed Care Task Force, an initiative to address, among other things, trauma associated with the ongoing violence epidemic. The swearing-in ceremony on the same day as the deadly shooting of a 16-year-old boy. We asked Scott about the shooting and his plan to crack down on violent crime. What part of your crime plan, Mr. Mayor, is not working?
Keith, let me just tell you this first. We should have some respect for a young person that died today and allow that family and for us to find out what happened.
The mayor moved on, took another reporter's question, but we walked with him to City Hall's front door to follow up. What do you say to those people who say we may be losing the fight, given all the crime that's happening, all the violent crime that continues?
Keith, again, we'll say this again for the
yes,
folks.
Sir.
One, we know that homicides are actually down in the city this year. Two, you should back up a little bit. But also, we're going to continue to implement the changes necessary. This is not overnight work. We'll fight every day to make it a better place.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The mayor concerned about social distancing, of course. Now, we pulled the stats tonight. So far this year, the city has seen 38 homicides compared to 41 this time last year, which saw a total of 335 homicides in 2020.
He heard it more than once. Doctors and nurses saying, "I'm not sure that your mom is going to make it."
Hello.
Despite the chirps of medical equipment,
I'm actually learning how to help my mother up and down the steps. I'm learning her motions and how to help her into the bathroom.
Today is a good day for Andrea Winston.
It's amazing. I feel blessed. You know, it was a long journey.
But an even better day for her mom.
She gets released from rehab after 93 days in the hospital.
Shorty, 93 days later, shorty, OG, triple OG.
Antoinette Woods of Bel Air
God is good, shorty.
has spent the last 3 months fighting COVID-19, double pneumonia, intubation, lung support, and often uncertainty.
When she walked into the emergency room, the nurse in the emergency room told her she didn't think she was going to make it.
The patient's daughter FaceTiming from inside the rehab facility, detailing her mother's personal pandemic battle.
2 weeks later, they told us that it was nothing else they could do.
But also sharing this video of the celebratory first steps since November, telling us mom miraculously turned a corner.
She said this is her second chance at life.
As this COVID survivor heads home, another journey beginning to regain strength.
It's 24/7 care, so we're going to be helping and learning how to get her back to her normal self.
And just outside the doors of this Baltimore rehab center today, nothing could mask the excitement for a homecoming that was never guaranteed.
God is amazing.
And tonight, to give you a sense of how this COVID survivor is just craving any sense of normalcy, I'm told she's looking forward to eating her favorite foods, taking a bath, and just washing her hair.
Okay, well, a nasty crash at 28th and St. Paul Street yesterday has some residents there calling on the city to step up and make a change. Joseph Ojo looks into what's being done to address the constant speeding and what neighbors call a dangerous intersection.
Neighbors I spoke with today say that this pole you see on the ground here is from a previous car accident. Too often, they say, you could find cars zipping along these streets, and they wanted to stop after yesterday's car crash almost turned into a tragedy.
You see accidents all the time down here.
At the intersection of East 28th Street and St. Paul Street in Baltimore, excessive speed,
People come down St. Paul going, way too fast.
Seems to be the norm.
Sit on my front porch sometimes down there, and you see people like they're doing a drag race or something, just whizzing right past.
Thomas Hyde says car wrecks at this intersection have become all too familiar, like this one that happened on Sunday.
Yeah, it was insane. The whole car had crumpled in on itself. It looked like they'd had to cut the roof off to get the person out. The whole street was closed down.
The image of the mangled car was tweeted by City Councilwoman Odette Ramos. She wrote this is so awful and that most of these crashes are because someone runs the red light. She called on Baltimore City's Department of Transportation to address the issue.
The streets have been empty. People been speeding. The Indy 500, there's nobody on the street now.
City Councilman Robert Stokes, who represents the area where this dangerous intersection is, says until tragedy strikes, he fears cars will continue to drive with no regard for human life. That's why he says he is reaching out to DOT and the police department for reports of accidents at this intersection, and he's calling for more red lighting and speed cameras to go up.
We can put up all the signal lights we want, but people are not slowing down and stop trying to run a red or yellow light. We can still have accidents.
I think people would maybe not do it so much if they were going to get slapped with a big fine afterwards.
And we reached out to find out the condition of that person that was trapped in that car, but we did not yet hear back.